Case Presentation State versus Gary Ridgway by Samantha Cruz. Breaking news. On tonight's segment, we will be discussing the 24th year anniversary of catching the Green River Killer. So on the left side, we have Gary Ridgway himself. The top right is law enforcement pulling bodies out of the Green River. And then Gary Ridgway again on the bottom right. So Gary Ridgway, he's also known as the Green River Killer. He was born on February 18th, 1949 in Salt Lake City, Utah. Gary was married 3 times and even had a child. Gary enlisted after graduating from high school. He was in the Navy and was deployed to Vietnam. On the left side, we have Gary Ridgway and one of his wives. And then on the right side, we have Gary Ridgway when he was much younger. So the Green River Killer. He killed from the early 1980s to the late 1990s. He was charged with 49 counts of aggravated first-degree murder, but he states that the victim count is much higher, around 80 victims. Gary would dump the bodies around the Green River in Washington state. He would often insert himself into the investigation by being interviewed by law enforcement. His house was also searched. So the criminal statutes violated. So Gary Ridgway would be charged and convicted on 49 counts of aggravated murder in the first degree. Elements of this crime include premeditated murder. The aggravated part was due to another serious felony being committed before the murder, which in this case was rape and having multiple victims. The modus operandi. Gary Ridgway would target vulnerable women such as drug addicts, prostitutes, runaways, or young women in vulnerable circumstances. He would do this by building the trust with the victims and offering them rides or assistance. His killing method was strangulation, often using his bare hands or ligatures. His victims' bodies would then be dumped in secluded wooded areas around the Green River. He actually would do this on purpose, kind of mark his bodies by putting them like around trees or stuff. So then he would come back, return to these sites, and sometimes engage in the act of necrophilia with the bodies. So these 2 pictures are of Gary Ridgway now. He is currently 76 years of age, and he is still serving out his time at the Washington State Penitentiary. Here we have all the victims of Gary Ridgway. Warning. Always be aware that there could potentially be more victims. He states that there are more victims. So if you live around these areas where the victims were found, please always be aware. If you find something suspicious, any remains, always report to local authorities. These women were vulnerable and they might have been missed. They might have been lost in the system. People were not looking for them. It's never too late to bring justice to these victims and their families. References.